Good morning everyone, my name is Mr Speed and I'll talk to you about A-level geology. Now geology may well be a new subject for you. Geology is the science of the earth. So what we're looking at here is understanding about how our planet works. There's little bits of biology, we study how life on the earth has changed. There's bits of chemistry, we study what our earth is made of. And there's bits of physics in terms of how does our earth behave, in terms of things like earthquakes and volcanoes. To be a geologist, you need to be interested in how our planet works. So we need to think about, will we have another ice age? Why do some volcanoes erupt explosively? Why did the dinosaurs become extinct? How do diamonds form? If you're interested in finding out the answers to these questions, then please think about choosing A-level geology. It's a science A-level, which means it does have a practical endorsement, which will require you to do field work. When you go out, you will be required to wear a hard hat. We also do laboratory work as well, where we try and recreate lava flows in the lab, we try and recreate earthquakes, we try and model geological behaviours in school. We will look at earthquakes, volcanoes, fossils, resources, ice ages and climate change, the earth history and geohazards. We want to know, why is it volcanoes erupt? Why are some volcanoes tourist attractions and others very, very explosive and dangerous? What was the earth like 20,000 years ago? Why did we used to have woolly mammoths, yet are now worried about the earth warming up? The earth's plates. Why do these plates move? How do they move? What happens when these plates move past each other? Can we predict when earthquakes are going to happen and hopefully save lots of lives? You do need to be keen to get out of the classroom into the planet in which we live. There is quite a number of bits of field work as part of the A-level. There'll be day trips into the Peak District, there'll be overnight trips into the Yorkshire Dales and a residential trip to Devon. There'll also hopefully be the opportunity to go to Iceland in October 2021, COVID permitting of course. In terms of assessment, there's 3 different exam papers. The first paper is a practical paper. So you'll walk into the exam and you will have specimens in front of you. So you will have different specimens which you will have to then examine and interpret during that examination. It's also quite a lot of skills based. So you will have a geological map like this, which you'll be asked to solve. What you will be asked to do on that is to draw a geological cross section, which is just here. And what we're looking at with our cross-section is, if you imagine the Earth's surface, is what we can see is a bird's eye view above us. The cross-section is the worm's eye view, what we'd see in front of it. The best way to model geological cross-sections is to use cakes. So an important ingredient in teaching geology is we get cakes, we cut them up, and we see what do they look like at the surface, what do they look like underground. That assessment there is the C1 paper. There's also then a series of short answer questions, very similar to what your GCSE science questions would have been like, where you're given some information and you've got short, detailed responses to answer on there. The third paper again is similar to this, except you also get given a real geological map, and then you've got to interpret that geology and understand what's going on there. So there are 3 assessments, there's no essays, there's no coursework, it's all down to those 3 papers, one of which is a practical paper which will involve specimens. In the past we've had students use geology for a variety of reasons. Some people have gone on to study geology at university, some people have gone on to study medicine at university. 2 years ago, Emily Wyman studied geology. She needed A-star AA to get into medicine. She got A-star in geology. That got her into medical school. Of some of the students I've taught, some of them work in the mining industry. One of them now works for NASA. One of them is a primary school teacher at Hunters Bar School. So there's a variety of opportunities available to you. In terms of performance in the exams, I'm very proud of the success we've had here at Sheffield Girls. Over the last 4 years, 24% of people have got A-stars. 57% of people have got A-star A's and 86% have got A-stars A's and B's. Most girls at Sheffield High School get their highest A-level grade in geology, and Professor King from Keele University has done some research nationally, and he's found that on average students get 1 grade higher in geology than they do in their other A-level subjects, regardless of what subjects they are. And he puts that down to the enthusiasm of geology teachers. In the past, a number of girls have gone on to study geology at university, very prestigious universities as well, including Oxford and Imperial College London. There is a demand for metals. There is a demand for geologists, geoscientists to go and find these metals. Now, if you were in school, I'd ask you if you thought that this was real gold. If it was real gold, I'm afraid I wouldn't be stood here now trying to persuade you to do A-level geology. I would be off somewhere else with the riches I'd found from that. But graduates from Imperial College, their starting salary 6 months after graduating was £76,000 because they were getting jobs in the resources aspect. If we think of places like India, Brazil, China, those economies, as they grow, the demand for metals is going to increase as well. There's also lots of important geology to be done in protecting people, saving people, predicting earthquakes, predicting volcanoes, predicting about how the climate is going to change in the future, making sure we grow up nice and safe. There's also going to be opportunities in engineering. You may have heard of HS2. If that gets built, we're going to need geoscientists to make sure the tunnels are safe, to make sure the new stations are safe on there. So I've spoken quite a bit about geology. What I'd like to do now is to give the students who are studying geology an opportunity to give you a student view.
Hi, I'm Felicity. For A-levels I study chemistry, biology, physics and geology. I'm new to geology at A-level, but I don't feel this has been a disadvantage for me. The support from the transition from GCSE to A-level, even though not doing it, has not been a step up, and Mr. Speed has been so supportive, and yeah, I love the subject.
Hi, I'm Evie, and my favourite aspect of geology is the field work and map work. I love being able to translate my theoretical knowledge into practical application when we're out in the field. I also love the opportunity to be out of the classroom and, outside doing nice big walks and stuff just to look at rocks. Another part of geology that I really like is the way that the lessons are structured. Each week we have Friday as a map work day, so we get to practice our skills and make sure that they're fresh in our minds and that we learn throughout the year instead of all at once at the end.
I'm Eliza and I'm doing geology, and I really like the content of it, so I really enjoy sand and all the sediments because that can tell you so much about the environments our country or an area was specifically in at different times. And it's not just all about rocks. You get to learn about hazards, so earthquakes and how they can be minimised, and how the rock types do cause different things. But it's more than just looking at a stone and being like, that's a schist and that's a marble. It's more like, okay, that's a that and that's a that, but why? And I've loved it so much I'm going to hopefully be studying it at uni.